All right. There he is. How you feeling, man? You feeling good?
I'm feeling good, man. I can't believe this is week two of 40 for the off season, right? Like not around 40 until the season starts.
That's true. Actually,
It's,
that's really very
it's a
true.
lot, man.
Yeah.
It's a lot,
Mhm. But
but
we'll
I'm
have a lot
good.
of things. We'll have a lot of things to talk about because the NFL always gives us a lot of things to talk about already as it is. Look, defensive coordinators. So apparently they've already asked for Sean Desai permission to talk to the assistant head coach of the Seattle Seahawks. Obviously, Fangio's been thrown out there, and Jerome Henderson and Chris Korasak and Ejiro Evero and all that kind of stuff. So, what are you hearing for the Dolphins at defensive coordinator?
It is air freaking tight in this building right now, man. There's a reason why there's not a whole lot of legitimate rumors flying around. There's not a whole lot of legitimate scoops flying around. They're not talking. This organization is not talking. I was told from last year that Vic Fangio was Mike McDaniel's preferred defensive end. Like way last year, retaining Boyer was a matter of keeping continuity and showing I can be a team player. I can work with everybody. You know, I don't have to just come here and bogart my guys into the building. Like I can work with people. So that's that's long lasting interest. I think we're kind of waiting to hear from Vic. Fangio is unpredictable as is, and to the best of my knowledge, has not taken any defensive coordinator interviews yet. So like it's going to be kind of a slow drip here. I think the world is sort of waiting for that first pin to fall, which is the biggest pin of all, Sean Payton. Got a second interview with Broncos coming up. I think that Dolphins fans, if you want Fangio here, you should probably be rooting for Sean Payton to go to Denver because there's not a world in what world. I don't care if it's new ownership. I don't care if it's in what world are you going to go back to the job that fired you at a lesser position? If the Charlotte Observer offered me a job, they didn't fire me, but the Charlotte Observer offered me a job and said, "Hey, we want you to cover traffic. We want you to cover arts and entertainment." I feel like I kept the lights on in that building. No, I'm not going to go do that. You know,
of course.
not exactly an A to A comparison, but you know what I'm saying. You're not going back to an old job.
Dude, you're Vic Fangio. 10 teams will hire you to be their defensive coordinator. So
Exactly.
it's not like you're going to struggle for a job or anything. And when you're Vic Fangio as a defensive coordinator, okay, not a head coach, defensive coordinator. So, I'm with you there. I don't think Denver is the spot. I don't think Peyton. I think they're using Denver's money for leverage. Is what?
Yeah,
Because
I don't think
they're
it's not
so
a hand
rich.
in glove fit. It's not a hand in glove fit over there.
He doesn't need to go there to resurrect Russell Wilson's career, bro. And I don't see him butting heads with the little man in Arizona. What's his name?
What, Tyler?
Kyler Murray. There is no way Kyler Murray could handle Sean Payton. No freaking way. He comes off the field screaming at him like he did to Cliff Kingsbury. Sean Payton will knock his ass out right there on the field. Okay, with those big ass arms with the old man strength and big ass arms of his. So those two don't fly. I think it's all Houston and Carolina. I think for Sean, I think it's just leverage the other ones.
No, those make the most. Houston and Carolina make the most sense. If you want to be, I mean, think about Sean Payton wasn't necessarily like he wants to build an entire program. He doesn't want to take credit, or he doesn't want there to be any conversation, any confusion about whose team, whose roster it is. You go to Denver, that roster is set. You got no movement, you got no flexibility. That roster is what it is. You're locked into your quarterback. You're locked into your top 2 or 3 receivers. You're locked into your I think they even signed Garrett Bowles. You're locked into your left tackle. You're locked into your running back. Like all you're doing is you're just taking something that somebody else did and then putting your spin on it. I don't think that's how Sean Payton wants to roll. I don't think he's moving on from a lucrative television job to ride on somebody's coattails. Houston, man, it's a big clay lump on one of those rotating things. I don't know what they're called. You could shake that job.
Shit ton of picks. You got two in the top 12 this year. You don't even and you could probably negotiate where you give up your first rounder down the line the next year. You may even be able to keep the one here this year instead. And you got $40 million of cap space. And in Carolina, you may not have as many picks as draft capital because obviously Houston's made some trades, but you still have pretty decent cap space and you have defensive players and you have a couple of offensive weapons. You don't have the QB. That's what you got to fix, just like Houston. But I love the potential for those two instead of the baggage that you have to inherit in the other spots.
I'll tell you what, though, too. If I've heard that the Vic and Peyton tag team is a little overblown, but if they were going to team up anywhere, Carolina is dangerous. And like you didn't mention, easy division. Division.
Both of them, Houston and Carolina. Easy division.
The Bucks, the Saints, and the Saints, and the Falcons have no future right now. When you look at those teams, you see washed up teams and one that's trying to rebuild in Atlanta and overachieved a little bit this year in Atlanta. But Vic Fangio with Brian Burns, with Jeremy Chin, with Derek Brown, the kid from Auburn they drafted a few years back, with Shaq Thompson, with J.C. Horn. Come on, man, that is a dangerous team. Houston, I think, has some pieces with Stingley and the safety Petrie, I think his name is.
Their thing is cap space and draft picks. They have a shit ton of draft picks, so that's where it helps him because you're going to have to trade a draft pick to get him. So at least that will hurt Carolina a lot more than it'll hurt Houston because Houston has a lot more. So that's kind of the give and take. But to me, I think Denver, he's not going to work for the Bidwells, but for the Denver, I think he's just using that Walmart money for leverage. So, okay. And Tepper's got a shitload of money in Carolina and the Houston owner also has money too. So it's not like it's not like you're dealing with either the Bidwells or Spanos with the Chargers. You're not, or maybe even Mike Brown with the Bengals. You're not dealing with cheap owners in that sense. So that's actually a good thing for him. Dude, he wants 20 to 25 million. All right. So having said that, then Fangio's off the list. Let's be honest. So what do you think happens now? Because Fangio's going to go probably with Sean because they're not going to Denver. So we kind of made that. Okay. So let's say Fangio's off the list. We all know that would be the guy because, dude, he's the most established defensive coordinator that's available. So who's the next guy? Who's the guy that you say, this might be a sexy pick for the Miami Dolphins at defensive coordinator?
It would depend on. So if let's pretend that Vic Fangio for some reason does want to go to Denver, or Sean Payton goes to Denver and he brings in his own defensive coordinator. That means Ejiro Evero is on the market. That's a home run. That's a home run pick. If you see what he's done with that defense, obviously familiarity with Bradley Chubb. He's got experience in coaching a dynamite secondary like they have over there in Denver. That would be a home run hit. So that's where I think
that's a Fangio disciple, right? He's a Fangio disciple.
Yeah, that's where I think it would be. That's where I think this process is better off being kind of a slow drip, where I say like that Sean Payton domino has to fall because he goes to Denver, he brings his own staff. That's a diamond in the rough. That's a guy who might get head coaching consideration this year. If you can get him to make a lateral move to Miami because he's looking for a job, home run hit. Desai wasn't the coordinator in wasn't the coordinator in Seattle, but he does have coordinator experience. He was the DC he's a DC in Chicago, coached safeties for Chicago, spent a lot of time with the Bears, respected throughout the league. He's got that experience again that Dolphins fans are saying that they want. They don't want a guy who was an assistant. They want an established coordinator here. So, and it makes the most sense right? Because this team's built to win right now. This isn't a rebuilding team. This is a team that's loading for a Super Bowl run. Like, you're not thinking, okay, 3-4 years down the line, we can develop a staff like we develop it. Nah, bro. It's time to win. That defense is built to win. You got a couple pieces that you need missing. Re-sign Wilkins, figure out a second cornerback, and then get a linebacker, get an off-ball linebacker, and that defense is ready to go. The defense is ready to go. And we don't even know what Channing Tindall's development is going to be this offseason. Maybe the light bulb turns on for him for all we know. If that doesn't turn on, that's massive because of his speed. When you watch the 49ers last night, the reason why the 49ers defense is so awesome is not necessarily because of Nick Bosa. It's not necessarily because of Talanoa Hufanga. It's because Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw are sideline to sideline in every sense of the word. You saw, bro, did you see Fred Warner turn and burn with CeeDee Lamb come across the field to get?
He has a lot of the Derek Brooks qualities in him, and that's why he can drop back quickly, and that's why he can run sideline to sidelines, and that was. When you have linebackers like that, and that's what Miami doesn't have. They don't have people in the middle that can really roam like that and have the athleticism.
No,
that's a freakish ability to be able to do what Fred does, because it reminds me a lot of what I told you, Derek Brooks. Derek Brooks was able to do those kind of things in that Tampa 2 defense, because it's very important when you're running those kind of defenses that your linebackers are able to cover a lot of ground. If they don't, brother, it's going to be a long-ass day, and they're going to work the middle of the field on your ass.
Yeah, and the Dolphins got 8 up over the middle of the field this year in those short, quick completions this year because they got thumpers. They got thumpers at linebacker. Let's be honest. Like, they got run-stopping linebackers. And Landon Roberts he's a high IQ. He's an high IQ football player. If you notice, he's always in the vicinity. He's always there. He's just a step too slow or a step too late. But he knows what's going on.
Lord blessed him with all the ability except that killer athleticism that he needs. And that's why he's a 2-down linebacker, because he's really that's what he's supposed to be. Both him and Ingram, they're not really players that you allow them to get caught up in the open field, because that happens. That's when they're cooked. Now, if you keep them down to the line of scrimmage, that's where they excel. They can get stops, for losses of yards, and they can get some sacks, and they can get some pressures. They do a great job. Landon Roberts had a hell of a year, dude. I mean, and Ingram really helped out, but they help you in their areas. They're not complete players. It's not their fault. It's your fault as a front office that you didn't get enough people that can, do that job that you need there right now. And that's why you had limitations on defense.
Yeah. So, like I said, I think Channing Tindall, if Channing Tindall develops this offseason, it would be massive. It would be massive for the Dolphins. It'd feel a huge need. There's a reason why they drafted him. Also, I see Jason Roberts is 30. I don't think Landon Roberts is 30. I'm 30. And I think I found out this year that I'm older than Landon Roberts. I think Landon Roberts is 27 or 28. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. Which, I mean, is
look it up there, Sean, for me. But Lyle John's got a great selection in Lovie Smith for defensive coordinator. And follow me on this. This is what I like. You tell me a Giro Evero or Sean Desai, and you're telling me these are young guys that are not here for a long time. If they excel, they're already going to be making the next move to try to be a head coach. I mean, one of them already that you're interviewing is a assistant head coach already as it is. So I just think that you're getting a young guy to then have a problem a year or two down the line to have to replace him. If you could get a Lovie Smith or a Vic Fangio, you might just keep them around for 4 or 5 years so they could kind of finish out their careers and their exceptional mind. Let me tell you something. Lovie did a hell of a job in Houston. I don't care what anybody tells me. Watch the games. Watch the defense. They lost a whole bunch of people, and they were still competitive a lot of times. They were limited as hell, and they lost the games that they're supposed to lose and all that good stuff. But if you watch them, at times they were competitive, and that's because of Lovie Smith. And that's where I give Lovey some credit. I think Lovey is an exceptional defensive coordinator. He's kind of Wade Phillips like, you want him running your defense, but I'm not so sure about being a head coach. You know what I mean? But Lovey is interesting because you could keep him here for several years. He won't really be going for that head coaching job anymore.
Yeah, but here's my thoughts on that. A friend of mine from back in college, we were having this sort of conversation when Arizona State was hiring.
By the way, Roberts is 28, they're saying. So you were right.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I knew, because I thought he was older too, because he talks like he's been around for a decade. He acts like he's been around for a decade. Like, I thought he was a seasoned vet. Not that 28 isn't seasoned, but like, I thought man's been around for, years. I was surprised. I was like, dang, I'm just getting to that age though.
You thought he was John Jenkins. That's what you're saying.
Yeah. Like, I'm just getting, but it's also on me because I'm just getting to that age where I walk into a locker room and I'm older than like 80% of the guys in it. I'm just getting there. So I'm still, coping with that. But
I'm older than most coaches and front office executives. All right, go ahead.
While Arizona State was looking for a head coach, I remember, I forget who. I think it was when Kevin Sumlin was leaving Houston, and I said something along the lines of like Sumlin would be cool, I guess, but he's just gonna like leave for a bigger job after a couple years. Obviously, Sumlin would have been a crap hire, but right. My friend Ben tells me, he's like, think about it this way. One of two things are going to happen. Either he's going to come here and he's going to suck, he's going to be fired, and we're right back where we are now. Or he comes here, and if he gets another job offer, goes to a bigger school, that means he did such a good job at Arizona State that our program is going to be in position that we can hire a better quality candidate next cycle. Same concept here. Let's say Evero he takes a head coaching job after 3 years. Let's say Desai takes a head coaching job after 2 or 3 years. That means that the Dolphins defense is playing at such a high level that an NFL team is willing to eschew the offensive-minded guys that like we're seeing time and time again now, and say that guy was so damn good. This defense is so damn good that we want him running the whole show. And then other candidates, the hot candidates that we don't even know about 3 years from now, are going to say, I can slide in here. I can make a tweak here, and here, but this is a championship caliber defense. I don't have to go in there and reinvent the wheel. So you're in if you lose a guy to a head coaching job, like you have such a better product to sell than you did before that guy got there. It only gets better. So I don't think that should deter any interest in a coordinator. Because I mean, ultimately, that's what a coordinator does, right? Like a coordinator wants to be a head coach at the end of the day.
Right. Well, I'll counter you with this. I'd rather go Lovie Smith because of the aforementioned. He ain't going to go pretty much anywhere. You can keep him for several years. 2, you got a very young head coach that's got a lot to learn. Lovie Smith has been a head coach several times. He's got an encyclopedia of experience. Can you imagine the sounding board that he can be for Mike McDaniel? A young guy like Evero or Desai or Kusarek or all those kind of guys, they're 39, 42, 44. Those guys don't have the experience of Lovie, who has been there and done it all. And he could actually provide a lot of insight, a lot of experience to a guy like McDaniel.
I think that's why
John Embry, like that foundational part of it.
I think that's why John Embry is on the roster. Success or not, success notwithstanding, he was a head coach at Colorado. Like he's got more or less that top dog. No, it's not NFL, but you also
Lovie Smith's got credentials, bro.
I'm not denying that, but I think McDaniel finds a lot of value in that innovation incubator type concept. So because you hear him talk about his formative years back in Washington, with McVay, with Shanahan, with LaFleur. I think Saleh was even on the other side of that ball. Like the things that they could do, like it really impacted the trajectory of his career. So like I think he kind of, it's a point of pride to create one of those here in Miami.
I'm with you there. All right, before I let you go, apparently Ryan Clark reported that Lamar Jackson is looking for the same guarantees that Watson has. And apparently the Ravens didn't go any higher than $133 million. I talked about this before you were coming on. $189 million Kyler Murray got, and $161 million that Russell Wilson got. This is a really bad situation because if Baltimore probably will tag him, but because he doesn't have an agent, this is going to get ugly, I think. I hope the Ravens are preparing for a backup plan just in case. How do you think this ends up? Would Lamar Jackson end up playing on the tag, or do you think he's going to stand his ground and wait for that fully guaranteed contract that will not come? Because nobody's giving that kind of contract to anybody right now, except somehow they give it to Kirk Cousins. I don't know why, but outside of that, you tell me.
Yeah, they gave it to Kirk Cousins, but Kirk got like, it was like 80 million guaranteed or like 75 guaranteed, 85 guaranteed. I think it was like, yep, it was before
this is his second go round. So he's approaching 100 and some million, 150, 160 by the time all these years go through. He keeps earning 30 million every year at least. And so he's going to be there several years, right? He's going to be there another year or two.
He just signed 1 year, 35,
and
1 year, 35 million.
How much has he made already?
March. Then he got a 2 year, 66 extension. But okay, I'm talking about the one he signed in 18. That was 3 years, 84 million, and that was, I think, fully guaranteed.
Right, and so he's had 84, and then 3 more years on top of that. Did you just say?
Let me see. What was the 66? How much was guaranteed? The 2 year 66 had it was fully guaranteed. So I mean, yeah, it does add up. You're right. It is add.
He's getting close to $200 million now. He's like at 160, insane. 170 or something like that. So he's the only guy that keeps getting it. But outside that, nobody's going to give a fully guaranteed contract, and they're not going to give it to a guy that
Mike McCartney, man. That guy is that guy can retire just off Kirk Cousins.
I know, dude. Right? I just wish he would have had an agent, because he would have gotten his contract 2 years ago. An agent would have had his deal done after that. I
think eventually, if you're Baltimore, because I mean, we keep seeing Baltimore ceiling right now. Their ceiling it continues to be the divisional round or the wild card round. It's not a conference championship roster right now. So like changes need to be made. They already fired Greg Roman. I think Lamar can run a pro style offense.
By the way, they didn't fire him. He left. He said he left, and he wants to take on new challenges. Yeah, I got to tell you something. I think Greg Roman has had enough of that offense. I think he doesn't want to be David Schwimmer from Friends, or many others that become typecasted in some kind of role. And then that's who they are. That's who they've always been. And so you're Danny Bonaducci or whatever it is. It's happened throughout the history of time. And I think Greg did not want to get penciled into, he's the run guy, offense guy. And I think he wants to find somewhere else where they pass a little bit more. That's just me, but you go ahead.
That reminds me of that meme, that Eric Andre meme, where like you see him like shooting somebody sitting in the chair, and then he turns back to the camera and says, why would something else do this? It was just like Greg Roman is shooting this offense in the chair and say, why would the Ravens do that? Like, you're tired of this offense? You made the offense. You're offensive coordinator.
He had no choice. That's what he has to work with. It is what it is. The quarterback is the quarterback. I mean, it's just
Lamar won a Heisman running Bobby Petrino's offense. Like, he knows how to run a pro style offense. Like, it's not they did it to themselves, man. Like, so often players are typecasted because they have success early in their careers that every coordinator from every coach for the rest of their careers refuses to let them branch out and do something else. Like, for example, John Brown.
He tried to pocket pass this year. He tried. I give him a lot. I give Lamar. He failed, but he tried a lot to stay in the pocket and win from the pocket. I give him a ton of credit. He didn't make the progress. See, go look at the kid in Philadelphia. That mofo, that guy's figuring out his accuracy. That dude is scary. Justin and Lamar still haven't figured out, but Justin's got time. But the kid in Philadelphia, that's a bad mofo right there, bro. That kid has got it right here, bro. That guy's impressive.
Jalen Hurts is nice for sure, but I don't know. I think it might reach a point where what I was getting at is we've seen the ceiling. The Ravens have seen the ceiling. Maybe it gets to a point where they say, whatever, let's try to start over. Let's do something. Maybe the Jets offer a boatload of picks. And you say, solves our cap problem, gives us some more money to work with, gives us some more draft capital to work with.
So you're thinking they're going to have to do this because he's not going to play on the tag. Is that what you're thinking? Because that's the feeling I'm getting, that he's going to be like he's a dude that stands his ground. Like he says what he feels. I almost feel like he and his mom are going to say either give me the guaranteed money or we're holding out. And I almost feel like he's really going to do something like that.
That's why I'm saying, like, it completely removes you from the situation. Like it removes you from having to deal with that. And the Jets are one of the teams that are one of the few teams that can stomach that. They can stomach paying a fully guaranteed because they are truly a quarterback away, and most of their impact players are on rookie deals, are on cheap deals. Like, so go get after it. Like, attack it while you can, man. Like, it's the same concept. Like when you have a dominant rookie quarterback or a dominant quarterback on a rookie contract, you go all out in every other facet before you got to pay them, like the Bengals. Yep. Same concept goes the other way around. When you have a dominant roster, when your key players are on rookie deals, you can afford to go after a quarterback and spend crazy money. Like I think it works like that. Now, 4 or 5 years down the line, might be a little chop, but hopefully you got a Super Bowl title before then. I think the Jets offer a competitive package for him, and the Ravens say, okay.
All right. So you're looking at the Jets going for Lamar more than Derek. Interesting. All right. By the way, did you have a bad night on Saturday night when they kicked you out for firing Roman candles in the stands there at Inter Miami game? Because I see you wearing
No, man. I've only been to one, dude. That stadium is way too damn far to keep going to all of these. But I wanted a jersey. This one is tired, man. It's got the whole kick childhood cancer.
I like it.
I thought it was. But no, me and Haley went to one before she left. So this was September, give or take.
Okay.
August or September. It's crazy. I knew that they were tearing up some golf course to build the new stadium.
Oh, Reese.
I didn't realize it's the golf course right next to the damn airport.
Yeah.
So I'm not looking forward once they actually start. Shoot, I might not even be here by the time they actually start. You know how Miami goes. But I'm sorry, Ray. I live in downtown Miami. You want to drive all the way to Drive Pink Stadium to watch Inter Miami play?
See, the problem is you're not a real South Floridian yet. South Floridians drive, bro.
I'm not driving.
Remember, Marcel, we
Drive
grew
Pink
up.
is past downtown Fort Lauderdale, bro.
In South Florida, you grow up without public transportation. We don't have subways and all that, and the bus stuff that we have is shit. So from when you're young, you want a car badly, and so you're used to that. If you live out west, you got to drive 45 minutes to go to the beach, and if you got to go to Fort Lauderdale or Palm Beach, that's kind of part of the game. It's the way it is. You're going to a concert, going to a restaurant, whatever, you drive. South Floridians are used to driving.
I live in South Florida. I'm not a South Floridian.
Not yet.
No, I'm Californian. I'm Californian. I've driven a lot too. But dog, that's an hour drive, no traffic. That's an hour drive with no traffic. So you tell me I got to drive that hour, then tack on 30 minutes each way and for traffic to get in and park? Nah, bro. It's a blue moon. It's a treat. It's hey, so and so is in town, or hey, like looking for something to do. Haven't been in a while.
That's normal
Like,
for us, bro. That's normal
not
for us.
normal for me.
I've been going
I'm
to
not
that
going.
same stadium since I was a kid from Little Havana. Okay, so to me, it doesn't matter where I'm at. I've been going to Lockhart, or now it's Drive Pink or whatever forever, dude. As a kid, as an announcer, as a spectator, whatever it is, dude. Commercial Boulevard is nothing to me. It's a joke.
But like, it's one of those things where like, just because you've done it forever doesn't mean it's the right way to do it. Like, doesn't mean that's the right thing. It's just like how things like that's all. That's how we've always done it. That's like I mean, we can. That's this country in a microcosm right there. Like that we refuse to move on from things because that's. I'd rather take.
If you want to go enjoy a good soccer match, you got to go. I mean, that's just the way it is. Now, you want to stay home and watch it on television, I get it. All right, that's fine. But you know what I'm saying? But that's normal in South Florida. We drive, dude. That's
bro.
What we do.
I'm the perfect long distance boyfriend because I go to work and then I park my ass at home and that's it. My Google Map thing where it tracks where you've been, it's one fucking blue line up and down 95, bro. Like I'm not going this way, that way, here, there. I don't even remember what floor my car is parked in. I don't remember where I parked the car because I'll Uber if I want to slide to Brickell, I'll Uber if I want to go to Wynwood, or I'll walk. Like but I don't drive. Like driving here sucks, man. I sat in LA traffic for a week. I'll take LA traffic over Miami traffic because at least LA there's some order to it. People use their blinkers. People go one lane at a time. There's just a lot of people out there. Miami, hell nah, bro. That little Civic in lane 6 is gonna come all the way over and cut in front of you with not an ounce of a blinker. Not a flash, not an indication, just saying that, fuck it, I'm out.
Yeah, but in Southern California, you might get hit by, a car chase, bro. What are you talking about? There's like a car chase every other day in LA.
Here, bro. There's been like 3 shootings on the damn Palmetto since I've been here. Are you?
But shootings is not traffic and not the car chases. You know what I mean?
Not a car chase. This is worse. This is the worst traffic I've ever been in, bro. I haven't lived in a bunch of like major cities. I've lived in Phoenix. I lived in Sacramento. I lived in LA as a kid, but that doesn't count because I didn't drive. I lived in Charlotte. Charlotte traffic gets rough. This is the worst. I looked up. I did the numbers. Like per capita, Miami has more people than Los Angeles, and it has fewer roadways. If you want to get somewhere, you take the pop.
I'll give Los Angeles. They got a shit ton of highways there.
Yeah,
they have highways there.
They're all full. They're all full because there's a lot of people there. But they move.
They're all run down. They're all run down. All the highways are run down. The roads are worn out. Unless you go through Beverly Hills, then everything is fine and nice there in those roads. But everywhere else, the roads are all beaten up, dude, to hell in Los Angeles because I go there almost every year.
Like this. If you want to get anywhere here, you're either taking the Palmetto or you take 95. Like that's right. That's all you got. With like, what is this? 836.
Turnpike. I'm out west. I use the Turnpike a lot. So yeah.
This is it's an issue. Like I see why Brightline is trying to do. Brightline in theory seems like it'd be a good idea, right? If I want to get to Fort Lauderdale, I don't know.
When we built the Metro Fail, which is what the Metro Rail, but I call it the Metro Fail. When we built it, Reagan, okay, was a president a long time ago. Anyway, he said they should have given everybody in Miami a Cadillac. It would have been a lot cheaper. But see, the problem was back in those days, what we had to do was build it out like a real subway and build it everywhere. And it would have been monstrous by now because you would have built it a lot cheaper back in the 80s. And then now it would have been used everywhere and we would have become a mass transit area. So people like you could just get into, which pretty soon, by the way, they're going to make one that goes all the way to the beach. So you're going to be able to go right to the beach right from where you're at.
Actually. The beach is not a problem. I mean, bro, I live right next to 395. Like I can get to MacArthur and South Beach like that. I can get to, I don't like going to South Beach. I prefer Crandon Park. But I can get to Crandon in 15 minutes or so, depending on how bad traffic is. Like the beach is not that big of a problem. What I'm curious about, what is the what's the difference in demographic between South Miami, so we're talking Coral Gables and Coconut Grove and those that are all along the tram,
right,
versus North Miami? I have a feeling I know, but who lives in South Miami and why? Because it seems so much easier if you want to live, say, in downtown, live in Brickell and work in South Miami. You can easily take that little metro line
the
way down on the Kendall, man.
right.
Down
Yeah,
the Kendall.
It's the
But if you want
weirdest
to go
thing.
north,
It made it so limited to certain areas, and it was just so ridiculous. Yeah, and it caters to only a certain group of people. Yes, you are correct, sir.
it's very you can't get further north than where I'm at, bro. And like I live over near the art center. The art center, whatever is, yeah. I can't you
It took us
can't get
forever to
further
build out
north.
to the airport and all that. It was like, bro, we should have done that from the get-go and everything. It's ridiculous. It's just we do everything ass backwards, bro. Welcome to South Florida, But make sure you make sure you get used to driving. That's all. Because that's South Florida.
I drive to Miami. I drive to Miami Gardens. I drive to work, man, and then I'm usually tired of it.
That's it. He's had enough.
Yeah,
no
my
more.
mom, bless her heart, man. A couple of weeks ago, my mom had a nail appointment or something like that, an hair appointment in Hollywood, and she was like, "Yeah, you wouldn't mind driving me to Hollywood, would you?" I was like, "Okay, fine." It took me 2 hours round trip to get to her nail appointment back. When we got there, I was like, "You need a new hair appointment. You need a new salon." This crazy, man.
South Floridians will have no sympathy for you, right? Because it's like, come on, dude, we do this every day. Get the hell out of here with this.
You shouldn't have to, bro. I want a better life for y'all, man. I want a better life for us.
Well, then you come on. You have the big money. Let's go build out a whole subway for all the Tri-County area.
I just saw what the plans are for 395, though. Like it's gonna be this big arches everywhere thing. They're about halfway done with one of them. Yeah. I thought there's only gonna be 2. There's gonna be like 6, and then they're gonna build that whole area into some sort of park, some sort of like
I saw it. It's really cool. It's really cool what they're doing. It's really cool. They're doing.
It's gonna have it's a cool idea.
Something from Brickell all the way up to Midtown. It's grown so much. It's become a really cool area to live and interact, and because they're making it like a New York City where everything is going to be in walking distance, and you'll have things to take you from Brickell all the way up to Midtown and back and everywhere. So I think it's a really cool thing. Now, the only problem is you need to expand it where mass transit becomes a lot easier for everybody else. Yeah. And that would be a real positive. But we've been so behind that for so many decades, Marcel. And that's why we're stuck in our cars, bro. We're stuck in our tin coffins with 4 wheels driving around until we get
the city, the leadership. It's a whole nother conversation, man.
Oh my God.
Conversation. I will say they've been putting in work on 395 since I've been here. I gotta give them credit for that. It's hella built up. And the last traffic thing I'll say before we get off of here, it cracked me up when I first moved out here. I don't know who in the chat has to take 395. It's a very specific stretch, so I don't know how many people have to use that. But that's how I get to 95, and it was always the right lane was the exit lane, which made more sense, but it was the exit lane to get to 95. So one of my first days, I'm going to COVID test last season, 2021 season. With no damn warning, the exit was closed. It just didn't exist. Concrete barrier between it. So I'm in the car. I had just gotten used to, my commute without a GPS. I'm calling Ann Nolan with the Dolphins, like, Ann, I need you to push my test back. Like, I need you to tell them I'm gonna be late. I don't know where the hell I'm at. I'm over near some hospitals right now. Like, I got to find a way there. Like, it is. So they made progress. They made progress on it. I think it was originally supposed to be done by end of this year. We'll see.
Yeah, 5, 10, 20 years. Yeah. We were working the Palmetto for like 25.
Yeah, like I said, I might not be here by the time it opens. So, like, just because it might be 10 years from now.
Yeah,
But
I may not even be on this earth by that time. Anyway, follow him on Twitter at Marcel_LJ and catch his work here twice a week, giving you the edge. Marcel, thank you, my friend. I appreciate you immensely.
yes, sir.
Thank you. And don't forget, Edge Energy Drink, delicious, smooth, and zero aftertaste. Only 78 calories. That's a joke. It's an amazing elixir. Go to myedgedrink.com. Order it. Use our code Big O. Get 10% off. myedgedrink.com for the finest energy drink on the planet.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.